blackness?
What kind of history will you leave your manness?
What kind of history will you leave your womanness?
What kind of history will you leave your childness?
What kind of history will you leave your siblingness?
What kind of history will you leave your selfness?
What kind of history will you leave? What will they say about you?
Louis Latimer, a black man, fought for freedom in the Civil War. He invented the electric lamp. A black man gave us life.
Benjamin Bradley, a slave in the 1840s, developed a steam engine for a warship. Couldn't own the property of the patent, so he sold it and purchased his freedom.
A black man used his steam for his freedom.
Matilda Evans, born 1870, a black woman, became a doctor. She rode a bike or horse to heal the sick.
A black woman healed the sick.
She opened a hospital for black folk and saved our lives.
She had 16 children.
A black woman gave us proof.
It can be done.
A black woman with 16 children. The first black-owned radio station was WERD.
Word!
First aired in Atlanta, October 3rd, 1949. Black people airing and recording. Verification that we were in this together.
Word!
Garrett Morgan, 14 years old, hungry for knowledge, went to Ohio to gain knowledge. He knew the importance of knowledge.
Worked as a handyman at a sewing machine store. Studied the machines inside and out. How accomplishments are had when all parts work in unison to sew pieces together.
Garrett Morgan opened his own store in 1907. He invented the zigzag tack.
A black man putting the pieces together.
Morgan opened a tailoring shop selling suits, coats, and dresses. The speed of the needle caused too much friction, burned the thread of the woolen material, so he developed a liquid that polished the needle to cut down on friction.
His wife also.
He wiped his hands on a piece of pony fur cloth. Came back, the fibers were standing straight up.
A black man straightening things up. The fluid magic potion.
He rubbed some potion in the hair of his neighbor's dog, an Airedale, a dog with very nappy hair.
No more peeps!
The owner didn't even recognize his own dog.
He chased it away!
A black man straightening things out.
Morgan on a mission.
He rubbed his head with the magic potion and invented the first human hair straightener.
The perm!
The prop.
So Uncle he used his head. The G.A. Morgan hair refining cream, sold by the G.A. Morgan Refining Company. He even invented the curved tooth straightening comb.
Garrett Morgan, a black man with a business of making a business, of straightening things out.
He started at 14 years old. The Sewing Company, 1907.
The hair straightener, 1908.
And in 1912, he developed the safety hood.
The breathing device.
The gas mask.
A black man putting things together, straightening things out, giving us breath, and he's not even 25. A black man.
Garrett Morgan invented the automatic traffic signal.
Gave us direction.
Even when he started the Cleveland and Call, but you know it as the Call and Coast.
A black man with the business of making a business by putting the pieces together.
Straightening things out.
Saving lives.
Giving us life.
Breath.
Beauty.
Direction.
And wrote about it in his own newspaper. Garrett Morgan, a bad black man.
Dr. Daniel Hill Williams performed the first successful open heart surgery in 1893.
A black man mending broken hearts.
Frederick McKinley Jones invented a self-starting gas engine and a series of devices for movie projectors. He invented the first automatic refrigeration system for long-haul trucks.
A black man keeping it cool.
Dr. Patricia Bass invented the treatment of the cataract.
A black woman giving us sight.
Clarence Otis Jr., CEO of Darden Restaurants, more than 1,400 known as Red Lobster and Olive Garden.
A black man beating us more than 300 million times a year.
But what will they say about you and the history you'll leave?
What kind of history will you leave?
Will you leave the history of the village, or just genetically linked affiliates? Will you remember to keep history as history lessons, and honor our parents and the elderly to be legacies carried on to glory? What kind of history will you leave family?
Will you leave a history of non-support, only working the active parts of imagination because guilt makes one creative to justify?
Don't conflate charm with character. Makes you ugly.
What kind of history will you leave folk you know?
Will you leave a history of disappointment, disillusionment, discontentment from expectations, character assassination, success and reputation annihilation, and failure and spiritual desecration, intellectual underestimation, emotional manipulations, and ego exaggerations?
The contagious infections of speculations and rumors, the activities of the inactive, The one speaking the loudest and saying nothing.
And the collateral damages resulting from it.
What kind of tools will you leave your children?
Tools for survival and success.
Which weapons will you leave?
Weapons of knowledge
Or weapons that blocks?
What kind of history will children emulate and imitate?
Will children be left a history of breaking down barriers?
Putting them up
Or
or bumping into them? Will you leave a history of respect?
What kind of history will you leave your blackness?
What kind of history will you leave?
Will they say thank you?
Will you leave them of their own strengths or weakening their courage to be a Garrett Morgan who put the pieces together?
Who straightened things out?
Saved lives and gave us breath,
beauty, direction, and wrote about it in his own newspaper.
Or the courage to be Matilda Evans, who had 16 children, who gave us life and gave us fruit.
And she did it with 16 children.
What kind of history?
Or Dr. Daniel Williams, mending broken hearts.
Or Benjamin Bradley, who knew how to blow his steam and find freedom?
Or Louis Lavender, shedding some light.
Or Frederick Jones, keeping it cool.
Or Dr. Patricia Bath, giving us sight.
Or Clarence Otis feeding 300 million a year?
What kind of history will you leave your
What kind of
blackness?
history will you leave your man?
What kind of history will you leave your woman?
What kind of history will you leave your child?
What kind of history will you leave your siblings?
What kind of history will you leave your selfness?
What kind of history will you leave?
What
will they say about you?
People will never forget how you made them feel.
Who will say thank you?